Chapter 69-25. Why don't I see Beichen? Yang Qinxue looked around carefully, and her expression became complicated. It seems that Beichen isn't here. Could it be that Hong Zhuang hasn't found him yet? The teleportation this time is really baffling. Yang Lingfeng sighed. We were clearly teleported together. Logically speaking, we should have appeared in the same place. Why did we suddenly appear in different places? There are too many different things that can happen in random mystic realms. Even Father wouldn't be able to figure this out. No matter what, being able to find Hong Zhuang is already good enough. Yang Qinxue felt a little comforted. At least the three of them were able to meet each other. Presumably, finding Beichen wouldn't be a problem. Look, the demonic beasts by Hong Zhuang's side seem to care about her. Indeed. Yang Qinshue's eyes lit up. That lion was willing to let Hong Zhuang sit on its back. From this point alone, she could tell that it cared about her. What's more, after landing, several demonic beasts surrounded Hong Zhuang. It was as if everyone was protecting their treasure. Comparisons are odious. Hong Zhuang is alone there, and she even has so many demonic beasts protecting her. Yang Lingfeng looked at Yang Qinxue, then looked at himself. The two of us were captured and brought here to do manual labor. The difference between us is too big, Yang Qinxue. Will you die if you don't say it? Only after the demonic beasts were organized did they all walk forward. Bailey Hong Zhuang also noticed the demonic beasts on the other side of the river. There wasn't much difference between the demonic beasts, but she could see a trace of ferocity in their eyes. The fox was right. There were more fights between the demonic beasts here, so their temperament was more violent. Fortunately, the demonic beasts on their side, except for the ape clan, were all wearing red clothes. It was easy to distinguish them. After the group of demonic beasts met, they directly stopped in front of the open space. Bailey Hong Zhuang then noticed that this should be a specially prepared meeting place. The surrounding trees were all flattened, leaving only green grass. The demonic beasts from both sides were feigning civility. Bailey Hong Zhuang looked at the three fellows beside her and saw that they were all smiling insincerely. It was obvious that they didn't have any good impression of the demonic beasts on this side. The demonic beasts on both sides were all highly respected individuals. Therefore, the negotiation of the Holy Spirit fruit was entirely up to them. Although the Holy Spirit fruit would only ripen once every 300 years, there had been many discussions about it in the past. Therefore, the discussion this time was not very complicated. The only thing that was discussed was how many demonic beasts each side would send. Bailey Hong Zhuang was very interested in the Holy Spirit fruit, but she was not interested in the discussion between the two parties. In any case, with her strength, she was completely negligible among these demonic beasts. Even if she really raised her opinion, it would be useless. Therefore, her goal after coming here was to find the human that the other demonic beasts mentioned. Xiaohei, go and look around nearby. Bailey Hong Zhuang noticed that other than the demonic beasts, there was no sign of Beichen and the rest. She could only send Xiaohei out to search. If she could take the opportunity to rescue Beichen and the rest before that, it would be the best. Then she wouldn't have to worry about being exposed. Master, leave it to me. Xiaohei nodded seriously. Chapter 69-26. Xiaohei was stunned when she heard Bailey Hong Zhuang's words. However, she quickly understood what was going on. After all, this was the territory of other demonic beasts. If she was discovered and did not call for help, she might be killed by the other demonic beasts. Calling for help might give her a chance of survival. Don't worry, I definitely won't be discovered. Xiaohei patted his chest as if to leave everything to me. Xiaohei was small to begin with. In addition, everyone's attention was on how to go to the holy world. No demonic beasts would notice her departure. Yang Lingfeng and Yang Qinxue were also locked up in the cave. They were extremely excited when they saw Hong Zhuang. All they wanted was to find a chance to reunite with Hong Zhuang. However, they were chased into the cave and locked up as soon as the demonic beasts on the other side of the river arrived. I heard from the other demonic beasts that they gathered here today to discuss something about the holy world. It seems to be very important. Yang Qinshue's heart calmed down. Since they saw Hong Zhuang, at least half of their worries were gone. It was time to think about the current situation. This so-called holy world should be a sacred place in this world. Anyway, there are places like this in every realm. Yang Lingfeng spread his hands. No matter which realm, there would be a sacred place like this. It was almost the belief of the entire world. Just like how the immortal domain was in the hearts of the cultivators in the realm of chaotic immortal. Every cultivator hoped to go to the immortal domain one day. These demonic beasts are already so powerful. For them to yearn for a place like this so-called holy ring is really not simple. Yang Lingfeng's eyes lit up when he heard that. Sister, you're right. If we can follow these guys to the holy world, we might be able to use this opportunity to break through to the elementary immortal stage. Yang Qingxue nodded slightly. Her fair face was filled with excitement. As a member of the realm of chaotic immortal, she knew very well what it meant to break through to the elementary immortal stage. I really envy Hong Zhuang, Yang Lingfeng suddenly said. Yang Lingfeng suddenly sighed. If we can coexist peacefully with these monster beasts like it does, then we will be able to understand why they are so powerful. During this period of time, this was the question they were most curious about. They knew very well how difficult it was to reach the elementary celestial stage. However, among the demonic beasts that he had seen during this period of time, apart from the young ones, almost all of the adult demonic beasts had already broken through. How shocking was this level of strength? If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed that such a place existed in the world. Perhaps Hong Zhuang already knows the secret of their breakthrough. Yang Qingxue smiled. She did not doubt Hong Zhuang's ability at all. I just don't know how we can leave. Even if Hong Zhuang wants to save us, it will be very difficult. Yang Lingfeng frowned. If Hong Zhuang was implicated because of them, it would be even worse. Let's play it by ear. I believe we can leave this place. Chapter 69-27. Faced with Yang Lingfeng's expectant gaze, Yang Qingxue replied calmly, I haven't come up with an idea, but I believe that Hong Zhuang will have a way. Yang Lingfeng. Alright, you're right. Xiao He wandered around for a while, but he didn't see any trace of Yang Lingfeng's group. Suddenly, a trace of anxiety appeared on his face. He wasn't sure how long these demonic beasts would discuss, so he had to race against time. Finally, after it had wandered around, it saw a cave not far away. When it got closer, it realized that there were still beasts guarding it, and its suspicions grew. It shrunk its body to its limit and slowly approached the cave. However, when it got closer, it realized that the beasts guarding the cave seemed to have sensed its presence, and began to look around vigilantly. This made its heart skip a beat. These beasts were generally very strong, and with its cultivation, it would be very difficult for it to hide its presence in front of these beasts. When it thought of this, it immediately stopped in its tracks and thought about how it could divert the attention of these beasts. Suddenly Xiao He had an idea. It took out a bag of dry rations and a trace of reluctance flashed in its eyes. Then it threw it not far away. I hope that you're all foodies and don't disappoint me. Xiao He prayed silently. It did not bring many things with it, and the only thing it brought with it was food. When the two demonic beasts on guard heard the movement in front of them, a trace of vigilance appeared on their faces. When they got closer and found that there was actually very tempting food inside, the two demonic beasts' eyes were filled with thick excitement. What kind of food is this? How come I've never seen it before? It smells so good, why don't we try it? The beasts from the other side of the river came today, and suddenly there's food that we've never seen before. Will it explode? The two beasts were a little hesitant. On one hand, they could not resist the temptation of delicious food, but on the other hand, they were worried that some other beast was trying to lure them in. Why don't we go and ask for instructions first? If anything happens, the two of us can't bear the responsibility. All right. When Xiao He saw the two beasts being so vigilant, a trace of despair appeared in its heart. After all, other than this method, it could not think of any other way to lure these two beasts away. However, when it saw the two beasts discuss and then leave together to find other beasts to appraise the food, it could not wrap its head around it. Sure enough, demonic beasts had completely different brain circuits compared to humans. I'm really smart. Blackie's face was filled with pride. Although it was also a demonic beast, it was obviously much smarter than these guys. In the next moment, it quickly approached the cave's entrance. Yang Qingxue and her brother had also been paying attention to the movements outside the cave. When they discovered that the two demonic beasts had suddenly left, they were somewhat puzzled. At this moment, a familiar voice sounded beside them. I've finally found you. Hearing this voice, the siblings were both stunned. They hurriedly looked around, and only then did they notice Blackie's figure on the ground. His confusion turned into surprise. Little Black, you're here. Chapter 69-28. The moment Master heard that there were humans here, she knew that you two must be here. Xiao He smiled as she carefully sized up the two of them. After making sure that they were safe, she relaxed a little. However, she soon noticed another problem. Are there only the two of you? Is the male master not here? Yang Lingfeng shook his head. Beichen is not with us. We always thought that he was with Hong Zhuang. Could it be that we still don't know where Beichen is? Xiaohei's heart sank. Master had always wanted to find the male master as soon as possible. She thought that they would be able to meet up on the other side of the river this time. However, the male master was not here. Wouldn't the situation become even more complicated? Then have you heard any news about the male master? Xiaohei looked at the two of them with a serious expression. The fox and the others had almost searched the entire opposite side of the river but did not see any signs of humans. It was obvious that the possibility of the male master being there was very low. In that case, only this area was left. However, if they could not find the male master this time, they did not know when they would be able to come to the other side of the river again. We did not hear the monsters mention seeing humans in other places. Yang Qingxue also realized that the situation was not good, but she still told the truth about the situation. These demonic beasts had never seen humans before, so when they saw them, they all showed a very surprised expression. If Beichen was also here, then as long as he was discovered by these demonic beasts, they would definitely make a big fuss and shout for all the demonic beasts to take a look. However, they had never heard of such a commotion. So where did Beichen run off to? Could it be that Beichen is lucky and has not been caught by other monsters? It's not impossible. However, if that's the case, it would be like looking for a needle in a haystack. The area of this forest was not small, and the river was very difficult to cross. If they went to the wrong area, it would be difficult to find them again unless they had a breakthrough in strength. However, Xiaohei quickly regained her senses. Now is not the time to talk about this. The most important thing is to take this opportunity to leave this place. Yang Qingxue and Yang Lingfeng regained their senses and followed Xiaohei out of the room. At the same time, there was a hint of hesitation in Xiaohei's eyes. He was wondering if he should follow his master's instructions and knock the two unconscious before bringing them into the chaos ring. After all, this was the most convenient way to deal with them. At this moment, there was a sudden movement outside. Xiaohei immediately sensed that the demonic beast that had left earlier had returned. Damn it, these two fellows are too fast. He had only said a few words, yet he had already rushed back. Could it be that he had already discovered the problem? Yang Qingxue and Yang Lingfeng also stopped in their tracks and their expressions turned ugly. Then don't worry about us. Leave first and we'll think of a way later. Hearing this, Xiaohei also understood the seriousness of the situation at hand. Its figure also quickly rolled out of the room. Chapter 69-29. The two demonic beasts rushed back and immediately checked the situation inside the cave. When they saw that Yang Qingxue and Yang Feng were still inside, they heaved a sigh of relief. That scared me to death. I really thought that the two of them had taken the opportunity to run away. I think they deliberately tricked us and then snatched the food away. The two of us have been tricked. The two demonic beasts sat outside the cave with gloomy expressions. The two humans had always been very obedient. They had not even struggled before, let alone run away. They were simply overthinking things. Yang Qingxue and Yang Feng were only one step away from leaving this place, but they were forcefully trapped inside the cave. They were already feeling very depressed. At this moment, when they heard the two demonic beasts' conversation, they almost vomited blood. Xiaohei looked around and did not dare to stay in the same place for too long. This discussion might end at any time. This was because the demonic beasts' brain circuits were very simple. They were different from the human race's communication. They were usually very straightforward and did not take much time. Although they did not manage to get them out directly, at least they were not completely empty-handed. Xiaohei comforted itself before passing through the crowd of demonic beasts and returning to Bailey Hongzhuang's side. How was it? Seeing that Xiaohei had returned, Bailey Hongzhuang immediately asked. I saw Yang Qingxue and Yang Lingfeng. Unfortunately, I did not see the male master. I wanted to take the opportunity to bring them out first, but the two guards came back too quickly. So I did not manage to make it in time. Xiaohei's face was full of guilt. Before it left, it had made a solemn vow. It did not expect that it would not succeed. You said that Beichen is not here? Bailey Hongzhuang's expression changed slightly. This situation was clearly beyond her expectations. Xiaohei nodded slightly. They said that they did not hear any news about the male master either. Bailey Hongzhuang fell silent when she heard this. She could not help but feel a little depressed. Master, maybe the male master has not been discovered in other places. It's also possible that he dug a cave and stayed somewhere. The area here is so big. If the male master has found a place to stay, it's very possible that he has not been discovered by the other demonic beasts for a while. Bailey Hongzhuang did not say anything. She was not very worried about Beichen's safety because these demonic beasts did not seem to be too cruel to humans. Of course, she ignored the situation when the three demonic beasts first met her. With Bei Chen's intelligence, it shouldn't be too difficult to solve this situation. However, disappointment was inevitable. She hadn't seen Bei Chen for a long time. Normally they were together almost every day. Now that they had not seen each other for such a long time, it was inevitable that they would miss each other. Master. Bailey Hongzhuang returned to her senses. Only then did she notice that Xiao He was looking at her worriedly. The corners of her lips curled into a faint smile. Don't worry, I'm fine. I just have to think about how to rescue Qin Xue and Yang Lingfeng later. Bailey Hongzhuang had been thinking of a solution. During this process the discussion finally came to a conclusion. The demonic beasts on both sides seemed to be very satisfied with this result. Bailey Hongzhuang felt rather helpless. This was because the result was exactly the same as the result 300 years ago. Nothing had changed at all, so the discussion this time was probably just for show. Chapter 69:30. As these words fell, the demonic beasts to the south of the river bank all looked curiously at the demonic beasts to the north of the river bank. This was indeed one of their goals for coming here. That's right. Where are the humans that you were talking about? Bring them here for us to see. The demonic beasts from the north looked curiously at the demonic beasts from the opposite bank. There was also a trace of pride in their eyes. We said that we caught the humans, so we naturally caught them. We'll let you see them in a while. The leading saber-toothed tiger raised its eyebrows. There was no doubt that the arrogance on its face was undeniable. I want to see what the humans look like. There was a trace of excitement on the long-armed demon ape's face. Its gaze quietly swept past Bailey Hongzhuang. As long as the demonic beast from the north of the river caught the same demonic beast as the white guy, then it would be able to wash away its grievances. At that time, it would make the white guy suffer a fate worse than death. Noticing the long-armed demon ape's gaze, Bailey Hongzhuang glanced at it indifferently. Her aura was not weak at all, but she was thinking about how to explain their identities later. The apes were all here. Although they did look the most similar to the apes, it was impossible to make up a race out of nowhere, right? The saber-toothed tiger also noticed the long-armed demon ape. It admired this fellow very much. After all, it was originally worried that no one would help to create momentum. Now that there was a demonic beast from the south of the river helping to create momentum, it would naturally be easier for it to show off. Come, bring the two humans here. The saber-toothed tiger waved its hand. A demonic flame fox behind it immediately ran to the back. The other demonic beasts gathered at the side, waiting for a good show. Although there's more food in the south, you're not well informed. You haven't even seen a human before. Coincidentally, I'll let you see the world this time. You won't be ignorant in the future, right? The saber-toothed tiger had a smile on its face. Its words were also merciless and sarcastic. The other demonic beasts from the north also laughed. There was a trace of joy in their eyes. They had always been envious of the abundance of food south of the river bank, but they could only survive here. One could imagine how unhappy they were. The demonic beasts in the south didn't need to compete at all. They could live a good life, and the speed at which their strength increased wasn't slow. On the other hand, due to the lack of food, they would often fight over food. Their days were not as leisurely as theirs. However, because of the competition in the past, everyone's speed of improvement was not slower than the demonic beasts in the south. Now that he had such an opportunity to taunt the other party, he naturally couldn't ask for more. Following the saber-toothed tiger's words, the demonic beasts to the south of the river bank suddenly had ugly expressions on their faces. They didn't believe that these fellows had become accustomed to the human race. Presumably, when they first met the human race, the situation wasn't much better than theirs. It was just deliberately putting on an act in front of them now. However, they were helpless because they couldn't refute him at all. After all, they had never seen a human before. Saber-toothed tiger, don't get too cocky. Maybe you didn't find a human at all. Fox suddenly spoke up. Chapter 69:31. The fox's face instantly turned ashen. Who are you calling stupid? Haven't I made myself clear enough? The saber-toothed tiger retorted. Aren't you the representative of brainless? You still have the nerve to call yourself a fox, what a joke. You idiot, are you looking for trouble? The fox was instantly enraged. Usually, no one would dare to speak to it in such a manner. So what if I'm looking for trouble? Do you want to fight me? The saber-toothed tiger narrowed its eyes and the demonic beasts behind it suddenly stepped forward. They looked as if they were not afraid of trouble at all. Seeing this, the lion and the rest of the demonic beasts stepped forward as well. Usually, they would not take the initiative to cause trouble, but since the other party had taken the initiative to stir up trouble, they were not afraid at all. The atmosphere instantly turned hostile. Bailey Hongzhuang stood in front of the fox. I thought that the demonic beasts from the north of the river bank were very impressive. I never thought that you would not even know how to treat your guests. What? Since you can't defeat us in a direct confrontation, you've purposely used such an excuse to attract us here so that you can attack us? Once those words were spoken, the demonic beasts from the south of the river bank immediately reacted. We haven't seen each other for so many years, and I never thought that you would become more and more shameless. I was wondering why you had suddenly invited us here. So that's what you were planning. Let me tell you this, even if we're here, we're not afraid of a fight. Almost all the demonic beasts were enraged by Bailey Hongzhuang's words. Initially, the saber-toothed tiger had only targeted the fox, so they were not that angry. Now that they had understood everything, they felt that these fellows were simply too shameless. The saber-toothed tiger clearly did not expect that it had only taken the opportunity to ridicule the fox in order to avenge itself. Why had it suddenly been labeled as a despicable and shameless person? What nonsense are you spouting? At this moment, not only the demonic beasts from the south of the river bank, even the local demonic beasts had a complicated look on their faces. As demonic beasts, they felt that a direct confrontation was not a problem. However, using such despicable means was very problematic. Hey, don't look at me like that. That's not what I meant at all. The saber-toothed tiger hurriedly explained, but its heart was already extremely vexed. It looked in the direction of the fox, but it did not know who had spoken just now. However, when the demonic beasts from the south of the river saw that the saber-toothed tiger was actually staring fiercely in the direction of the fox, they immediately became even angrier. This fellow kept saying that it didn't have any, but it didn't act like this. The long-armed demon ape's cold gaze landed on Bailey Hongzhuang. It was very familiar with this woman's tricks. Previously, it had fallen into the trap of this infuriating person and inexplicably carried a groundless title on its back. It didn't even have to explain. Why should I believe you just because you say so? At this moment, Bailey Hongzhuang was obviously enjoying the show. It was best to make the situation more chaotic and create conflicts between the two sides. When the time came for her rescue, as long as the demonic beasts in the south of the river bank were on her side, then the matter would become much easier to solve. It wasn't. The saber-toothed tiger hurriedly said when it heard the familiar voice. Unless you prove it with your actions. How do you want me to prove it? Chapter 69:32. When the saber-toothed tiger heard this, it subconsciously wanted to agree. As long as it could get rid of the despicable name of setting traps, it was willing to do anything. After all, such a name was a disgrace to demon beasts. At this moment, the fierce cloud monkey beside the saber-toothed tiger nudged its elbow, indicating that it should not be fooled. The saber-toothed tiger paused and swallowed the words that it was about to blurt out. Bailey Hongzhuang also noticed the fierce cloud monkey's little action and narrowed her eyes slightly. Indeed, the monkey had always been smarter and did not fall for the trick. Of course, it's fine if you don't agree. Anyway, we've already seen through your scheme. I really didn't expect this tsk. Bailey Hongzhuang's taunting voice rang out, inciting the emotions of the beasts. The saber-toothed tiger man was already fuming with rage, especially when he heard the clicks at the end. He could no longer hold himself back and blurted out, "Fine, I'll agree to it. I'm an honest beast." The fierce cloud monkey wanted to stop it, but it was too late. The saber-toothed tiger had already spoken. If it went back on its words now, it would be despised even more. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curled up slightly when she heard this. She had already achieved her goal. When the saber-toothed tiger heard the sigh behind it, it immediately realized that it was indeed too impulsive. Unfortunately, it was too late to regret. It could only keep looking in the direction of the fox, wanting to know who the fellow who spoke was. However, the lion's body was too huge and kept blocking its view, so it could not see who it was. Xiao He quietly gave a thumbs up. Master's actions were indeed different. Naturally, it knew that Master had provoked the saber-toothed tiger to say such words in order to save Yang Qingxue and Xiao He. As long as the other party did not take the initiative to attack, they were not afraid of using their brains at all. Master, now I finally know who I've been following. I've always liked to watch a good show and take the initiative to stir up trouble. Little Black had a look of realization on his face. I'm just like Master. Bailey Hongzhuang. I don't usually stir up trouble, okay? Rock was also excited at this moment. White fellow, I really didn't expect you to be so good at arguing. I also didn't expect you to be so good at arguing. We can't compare to you. You just quarrel with them and anger them to death. Bailey Hongzhuang. It's over, I can't clear this attribute even if I jump into the Yellow River. White fellow. At this moment, the fox suddenly turned to Bailey Hongzhuang and said, I take back what I said. Bailey Hongzhuang was slightly surprised. What did you say before? You're not allowed to stir up trouble. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes lit up. She couldn't avoid looking for trouble today, but she had always been worried about the three demonic beasts. She didn't want to implicate them, nor did she want to make them unhappy. But rock tiger to kill her two of its. The lion was also very happy. Yes, we have to cause trouble and anger them to death. Rock, that's right. White fellow, you'll anger them to death later. This fellow has been an eyesore to me for a long time. Even if humans appear later, don't be too shocked. We can't let them have the chance to be smug. Chapter 69:33. Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the group of demonic beasts who were egging her on to stir up trouble and instantly felt extremely heroic. Normally, she really didn't cause much trouble, but this saber-toothed tiger that was an eyesore actually dared to bully their fox. She had to teach it a lesson. Everyone cooperate with me later. I'll make it difficult for them. Bailey Hongzhuang raised her brows and the surrounding demonic beasts all nodded in agreement. For a moment, she felt as if she had become the boss and was surrounded by her demonic beast underlings. Furthermore, they were all at the elementary celestial stage and above. At this moment, the demonic flame raccoon had already brought Yang Qingxue and Yang Lingfeng over. Following their appearance, the demonic beasts on the north side of the river all had smug looks on their faces. They were just waiting to see this group of demonic beasts who had never seen the world reveal expressions of amazement. However, after waiting for a moment, they didn't hear any exclamations of amazement. Only a few members of the ape clan revealed looks of astonishment. As for the rest of the demonic beasts, their expressions seemed a little strange. White fellow, are they your brothers and sisters? The lion asked quietly. That's right, they are. The lion's face instantly turned disgusted. I was wondering why I couldn't find your brothers and sisters. It turns out that the saber-toothed tiger had mistaken them for humans and captured them. This idiot can't even tell the difference between humans and apes. He actually dared to embarrass himself by inviting us over to watch. What a joke. Bailey Hongzhuang remained silent. She only felt that she shouldn't tell the lion the truth that she was indeed a human in the future. Otherwise, when it recalled everything that had happened today, it would probably die of depression. Saber-toothed tiger, these are the humans you were talking about? One of the demonic beasts couldn't help but ask. The saber-toothed tiger nodded. That's right, they are humans. Haha, don't talk nonsense. They're not humans. They're apes, all right? As soon as this was said, the demonic beasts on the north side of the river all burst into laughter. This idiot actually thinks that humans and apes are the same. He can't even tell them apart when standing in front of him. What a joke. You're a bunch of idiots. Bailey Hongzhuang walked past the lion and walked to the front of the group. They are not humans. They are my brothers and sisters. Yang Qingxue and Yang Lingfeng had been looking for Bailey Hongzhuang ever since they were brought here. They didn't see her until now. Dressed in a bright red dress, she looked even more enchanting and charming than usual. The bright colors made her look even more beautiful, like a raging fire, and she exuded a breathtaking beauty. However, when they realized what Bailey Hongzhuang was talking about, they were stunned. So, Hongzhuang was saying that they weren't human? The saber-toothed tiger and the rest of the demonic beasts didn't believe it at first, but when they saw Bailey Hongzhuang appear, their expressions became strange. What was going on with this fellow who looked exactly like a human? At this moment, the saber-toothed tiger finally knew what the person who had provoked it looked like. Human race. I'm not a human, I'm an ape. Bailey Hongzhuang emphasized her identity without skipping a beat. You're spouting nonsense. The apes don't look like you at all. How am I spouting nonsense? Bailey Hongzhuang raised her hand. Why don't you ask everyone behind me if I'm an ape? Chapter 69:34. The group of beasts responded to Bailey Hongzhuang without hesitation. What kind of joke was this? They had already confirmed the white guy's identity during this period of time. Faced with the beast's unanimous response, the beasts on the north side of the river were a little dumbfounded. Their brains couldn't wrap their heads around it for a moment. What was going on? They had clearly confirmed that these two guys were humans. That's impossible. The saber-toothed tiger didn't believe it at all. I heard them say that they were humans. You're lying. The fox hurriedly said. They had also suspected that the white guy was a human before, but after the long-armed demon ape's visit, everything was confirmed. We've never seen humans here before. Why don't you use your brains and think about it properly? Just because we haven't seen them doesn't mean that they won't appear. These two guys clearly told us that they were humans. Look at them, how are they similar to humans? The saber-toothed tiger hurriedly said, then turned its gaze to Bailey Hongzhuang. This guy is definitely a human too. You've been deceived. You're the one who's been deceived. The two sides suddenly began to argue. They were all certain that their opinions were correct. At this moment, Bailey Hongzhuang suddenly said, which one of them told you that they were humans? The saber-toothed tiger looked at Yang Lingfeng and said, when we first saw this guy, he said that he was a human. Thinking back to when they first met these two fellows, they were also a little uncertain. It was not until they asked that they understood the situation. Yang Lingfeng also understood why there was such a huge difference in their situation when they came to the same place as Hongzhuang. So this was the biggest problem. I suddenly feel that I'm so stupid, Yang Qingxue. You just realized? Bailey Hongzhuang had already walked to Yang Lingfeng's side. Brother, your brain is really getting more and more muddled. Mother was just joking and lying to you that she was a human. You actually believed it? Your brother has always been stupid. He believes everything you say. There's no other way. Yang Qingxue sighed and a helpless expression appeared on her face. Yang Lingfeng. Sis, why are you looking at me like I'm an idiot? Bailey Hongzhuang turned to look at the fox and the other beasts. My brother broke his head when he was young, so he's... Fox and the others immediately understood and looked at Yang Lingfeng with a trace of sympathy in their eyes. So that's how it is. Yang Lingfeng was dumbfounded. He would rather these fellows look at him as if he was a human. Previously he was at most treated as an alien, but now he was being treated as a fool by a group of demonic beasts. What made him even more speechless was that his sister and Hongzhuang were still winking at him. They wanted him to be a real fool. Is that so? Why do I feel like we're humans? Yang Lingfeng's smile was sluggish, and his innocent look made him look like a complete fool in the eyes of the other beasts. So she really is an idiot. What a pity. She looks pretty good. I didn't expect that guy to have such a difficult life. His background is already quite pitiful, and he actually has a stupid brother. We have to treat guy better in the future. With such a stupid brother, it's no wonder that he had such a hard time in the past. The rock sighed. It could imagine how hard it had been for them all these years under the bullying of the long-armed demon ape. Chapter 69-35. Faced with the sympathetic looks of the group of beasts, Yang Lingfeng only wanted to cry. Previously he was enslaved by the beasts as a coolie, and now he was acting like a fool in front of the beast. This was the first time in his life that he was so miserable. Yang Lingfeng could only laugh helplessly. His heart had already broken down. Yang Qingxue pretended to be heartbroken, but in her heart she was laughing like crazy. Haha, who would save her? The saber-toothed tiger and the rest of the beasts were completely dumbfounded. This was supposed to be their show-off. How did it suddenly become a reunion? Although there seemed to be something wrong, he couldn't figure out what the problem was at the moment. Don't be fooled by them. The long-armed demon ape suddenly stood up and said with a righteous face, they are not apes at all. They are humans. All of this is just a lie. The saber-toothed tiger and the rest of the beasts looked at the long-armed demon ape strangely. What was going on? Why was this guy suddenly siding with them? There has never been such a species in our ape clan. How can they be apes? The long-armed demon ape looked at the members of the same clan behind him, then looked at the apes beside the saber-toothed tiger. They have never appeared here. Could it be that there is such a species in your clan? The apes all shook their heads. No. We don't have it here either. The long-armed demon ape's eyes were filled with excitement. These guys appeared out of thin air. In order to confuse us and not be discovered by us, they claimed that they were from the ape clan. In fact, they have nothing to do with us at all. They were originally from the other kind. Yang Qingxue and Yang Lingfeng's faces instantly turned ugly. It was not easy for them to stabilize the situation. Many beasts had already believed that they were apes. Now that this guy had stirred up trouble, things became troublesome again. Bailey Hongzhuang looked coldly at the long-armed demon ape. She knew that this guy would take the opportunity to cause trouble. Fortunately, she had already found a way to deal with it. Long-armed demon ape, you wanted to take my sister for yourself. My sister swore that she would die for it. That's why she ran here. Your true face has already been exposed by me. Now you still want to deny it. How can there be such a shameless guy like you? Bailey Hongzhuang's face was filled with pain. We are indeed a small tribe. Our mother married with another tribe, so our appearance is different. Don't you know this very well? You took advantage of our weak strength and lack of support, so you bullied us even more severely. Yang Lingfeng looked at Bailey Hongzhuang's bitter and hateful expression, his heart. They had not seen each other for a while. What had happened to Hongzhuang? Her acting skills were simply off the charts. Haha. Yang Qinshua's expression became very strange. Hongzhuang was really willing to do anything in order to save them. But this fabricated reason was too hard to accept. Sister, you have to cooperate well. Yang Lingfeng transmitted his voice. Whether we can escape from this sea of misery depends on you. Chapter 69-36. Faced with Yang Qinshua's resentful gaze, Bailey Hongzhuang felt a little helpless. In that situation, this was the only reason she could think of. Big baddie. Big baddie. Yang Lingfeng pointed his finger at the long-armed demon ape, his face filled with disgust. It was as if he had just seen his mortal enemy. The demonic beasts who were still in disbelief saw an idiot make such an expression and instantly believed it. How could an idiot know how to act? If all of this wasn't true, how could he say such a thing? Yang Qinshui glanced at Yang Lingfeng indifferently. You're quite good at acting. Yang Lingfeng gave her a look. Sister, it's your turn to act. Yang Qinshui swallowed her saliva and decided to throw caution to the wind. You bastard. I've already left that place. Why are you still haunting me like a ghost? Could it be that you want to force me to death before you're satisfied? The long-armed demon ape didn't expect Bailey Hongzhuang to know how to act, and now there was another one who knew how to act. Don't talk nonsense. I've never even seen you before. You've never seen me before? Yang Qinshui said with hatred. I really hope that I've never seen a beast like you in my entire life. Bailey Hongzhuang rushed forward and hugged Yang Qinshui. Sister, I've recently met a lot of powerful friends. They'll help us. With them around, we won't have to worry about Taisher bullying you anymore. Fox and the rest couldn't stand it any longer. They shot forward like an arrow and stood in front of Bailey Hongzhuang. Long-armed demon ape, a while ago you came here to bully that white fellow and we found out that you were beaten up. Now it seems that we haven't taught you enough of a lesson. You still dare to cause trouble. Fox stared at the long-armed demon ape with righteous indignation. If I knew that you were so despicable and shameless, I would have killed you earlier. Not only did you think of ways to bully that white fellow and her sister, you're even helping the demonic beasts on the other side of the river. You know that you can't stay here any longer, so you want to betray us. Lion scolded angrily. Rock then regained his senses and said angrily, That's right, you bastard. The group of apes were all dumbfounded at this moment. Even if they had some doubts before, now that they heard the fox say that the long-armed demon ape had been beaten up because it went looking for trouble with the white guy, they had no choice but to believe it. I was wondering why I saw it injured a while ago. When I asked it, it was so secretive and refused to tell me. So this is what happened. Look, this little sister is indeed prettier than her elder sister. No wonder Taisher wants her. To think that I've been his neighbor for so many years. I really didn't expect him to be such a beast. You really can't judge a beast by its appearance. The long-armed demon ape almost vomited blood when it saw that these fellows were all siding with Bailey Hongzhuang in the blink of an eye. Please, you should at least pay attention to the main point of the matter. How could you be led astray in the blink of an eye? Don't listen to her nonsense. I've never done such a thing. The long-armed devil ape tried its best to defend itself, but the fox said, Since the long-armed devil ape favors you so much, I think you might as well accept it. When the saber-toothed tiger heard this, it couldn't remain calm. What kind of joke was this? This kind of despicable and shameless fellow was the one they despised the most, alright? Chapter 69-37. Fox, I'm telling you, don't even think about it. We will never accept such a fellow. That's right. This kind of beast is originally from the south. The long-armed demon ape saw that it was being despised by both sides, and its expression turned extremely ugly. What the fuck is this? It had clearly never done such a thing, but this accusation seemed to have grown on its head, and it couldn't get rid of it even if it wanted to. It was infuriating. Can you all listen to me for a moment? The long-armed demon ape suddenly shouted. It understood that if it couldn't explain this matter clearly today, it wouldn't even have a place to stay in the future. The sudden roar startled all the beasts, and they all looked towards the long-armed demon ape. Don't you all know what kind of beast I am? The long-armed demon ape looked at its clansman behind it. I won't say how good I am, but I would never do such a thing. Think carefully about my usual appearance. How can you slander me just because of these fellows' one-sided words? Hearing that, the group of apes then carefully recalled the entire matter. Taisha actually hasn't done anything too outrageous, and I've never heard of this matter before. I also feel that there's something wrong, otherwise Taisha would have taken the initiative to bring up this matter today. Wouldn't he be looking for trouble? Yang Lingfeng's heart thumped. Not good, I didn't expect this fellow to be so capable. They were originally taking advantage of the chaos to confuse the public, but once these beasts all calmed down, perhaps the situation would be different. Bailey Hongzhuang's brows also furrowed. She understood that they definitely couldn't let the long-armed demon ape explain clearly. As long as they let the long-armed demon ape take the blame today, all the problems would be easily solved. She heard a discordant voice amidst the voices of the long-armed demon apes. In my eyes, Ironstone isn't anything good to begin with. This is just what it's doing. Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes lit up, and in the next moment she suddenly rushed in front of the water-resisting ape excitedly. I remember you. Back then when my sister was almost bullied, it was you who helped her, right? The water ape was stunned. Bailey Hongzhuang did not give it a chance to speak. That's right, it's you. You really are a great hero. If it weren't for you, my sister would have been killed. To be brutally murdered. The corner of Yang Qingshua's mouth twitched. She really didn't want to have such an indescribable relationship with this ape. Yang Lingfeng also rushed over excitedly and grabbed its hand. He said in a daze, "Hero. Great hero." Yang Qingxue rolled her eyes. She was really good at acting like a fool. Then she realized that Hong Zhuang and her silly little brother were winking at her. In the next second, Yang Qingxue also looked like she was about to cry. Thank you, hero. A sob. The water ape didn't expect that it would be called a hero out of nowhere. But Fox sighed. I didn't expect the water-taming ape to be so good. I really couldn't tell before. It's all thanks to the water ape. Otherwise, White and the others would have been finished. We're lacking heroes like this. One after another, the water-taming ape was praised to the sky. Even if they didn't know what was going on, but this seemed to be pretty good too. Chapter 69:38. That's right. I was the one who saved them. The water-taming ape stood out and its expression turned into a brave and fearless one. I've already seen through the long-armed ape's facade. It's actually a despicable, shameless beast that's worse than a beast. The group of demonic beasts who were originally doubtful no longer had any doubts after seeing the water-taming ape confirm everything. The ape clan did not have any understanding of Bailey Hongzhuang and the rest and were not sure about the entire incident. However, the offspring born from interracial marriages were different and this was a common occurrence. Otherwise, the species of the ape clan would not have expanded. They knew the long-armed demon ape and the water-taming ape and the two beasts were often at odds with each other. Everyone was not sure what was going on. Now that the whole thing was put together, everyone understood what was going on. In the past, I was prejudiced against the water-taming ape because of the long-armed demon ape. I didn't expect that I had been wrong all this time. I'm really ashamed. After admitting everything, the water-taming ape felt a little guilty. After all, it was not the one who did it. At the same time, it was worried that Bailey Hongzhuang and the rest would recognize that it was not the demonic beast who saved them that night. However, after listening to everyone's flattery, the water ape was already blown to the top of the clouds. He almost couldn't tell who he was. That night, I witnessed the long-armed demon ape's beastly behavior with my own eyes. The white guy and the rest were all alone and their lives were very difficult. If I hadn't happened to pass by, the consequences would have been. The water-taming ape looked like it was heartbroken. Although it did not finish its sentence, it gave the group of demonic beasts more room for imagination. The corner of Yang Lingfeng's lips twitched. Sister Hongzhuang is really amazing. She found a drama queen just by randomly searching. Yang Qingxue was also in disbelief. She originally thought that it would be too difficult to solve this situation, but after seeing Hongzhuang's actions, she subconsciously cooperated. However, she never thought that the water-taming ape would cooperate with them so well. They did not even need to say anything as the water-taming ape had already spouted out the entire story. That look. It was as if it had really witnessed this matter with its own eyes and had even pulled out its sword to help. Hongzhuang's methods are really amazing. Yang Qingxue couldn't help but sigh. No wonder they had been living such a miserable life recently, while Hongzhuang was doing so well. Obviously this was the difference. You bastard. The fox jumped out. I didn't expect that. Not only are you worse than a beast, you're also thinking of betraying us. You're simply too hateful. The long-armed demon ape was already dumbfounded. It didn't understand what had happened. Things had turned out like this for no reason. It even suspected that Bailey Hongzhuang had already colluded with the water ape to frame it. However, during this period of time, Bailey Hongzhuang had never appeared in the ape clan's territory. If it said that it was colluding, the other demonic beasts would immediately refute and think that it was quibbling. If he didn't say anything, wouldn't that be the same as admitting it? In an instant, the long-armed demonic ape turned from red to green, from green to white, and from white to black. It was an extremely colorful scene. Chapter 69-39. The long-armed ape faced the questioning gazes of the beasts and opened its mouth. You don't have to say anything. The rock jumped out. Everything has been proven, there's no room for you to deny it. Long-armed demon ape. The fox snorted. Say it if you have the ability. Long-armed demon ape. The rock. Humph, it's useless even if you say it, it's all sophistry. Long-armed demon ape. Damn it, do you want me to say it or not? At this moment, the water ape suddenly stood out and said, Everyone, can you listen to me for a moment? The noisy scene suddenly quieted down with the water ape's words. After all, it was a great hero. The long-armed demon ape looked at everyone's different attitude towards it and the water ape. It was so angry that it almost fainted. It and the water ape had been holding grudges for a long time. This guy was not a great hero at all, but today it shamelessly took on this title here. It was obviously using it as a stepping stone to become famous. In the future, everyone would think that it was a shameless person when they saw it, but the water ape loved and respected it. It was too infuriating. The long-armed demon ape has always been selfish, arrogant, and supercilious. It has long had the intention to mutate us. If we let it stay in the south, it will only harm us. It's better to chase it out to prevent such things from happening in the future. The water ape's words were full of righteousness. After all, we won't be so lucky every time. Although the white guy's sister managed to avoid a disaster, she has been having a hard time these days. She was even captured by other demon beasts. Once this was said, the beasts could not help but look at the saber-toothed tiger. Their gazes became very complicated. The white guy and the others were forced to leave after being bullied and humiliated. They did not expect that these guys on the other side of the river would treat them as aliens and directly lock them up. Even if they did not know what exactly they experienced during this period, they could roughly guess. The beasts on the north side of the river could not help but feel guilty. They did not expect the real situation to be like this. So, they were not humans at all but just a branch of the ape clan? I finally understand why when this fool said he was a human, his sister did not deny it. Rather than living under the claws of the long-armed demon ape, it's better to be treated as an alien. They are not strong to begin with. Isn't it easy for the long-armed demon ape to bully them? What do we do now? The beasts on the north side of the river looked at the saber-toothed tiger. They really made a big mistake this time. The saber-toothed tiger's expression was also very ugly. How could it have thought that in the end it would become a big joke? If you want to chase us out, it's your problem, but we will definitely not accept it. The saber-toothed tiger's attitude was unyielding. These fellows' attitudes were obviously not willing to accept the long-armed demon ape, so it was even more impossible for them to accept. If they really let this guy stay, what would they become? The long-armed demon and demon? Demon to the point of its SSS. To kill demon is demon. If it wasn't for this guy, how could it have fallen to the point where it was despised by everyone? Tease. Chapter 69-40. Bailey Hongzhuang saw that it was about time and pulled Yang Qingxue and Yang Lingfeng to her side. Brother, sister, I'm here to take you back. Don't worry, the long-armed demon ape won't dare to cause trouble for us anymore. Yang Qingxue and Yang Lingfeng also quietly moved closer to the monsters on the south side of the river. During this process, they were also testing the attitude of the saber-toothed tiger and the others. If the saber-toothed tiger insisted on not letting them go, things would be a little troublesome. The saber-toothed tiger and the rest of the demonic beasts naturally noticed this as well. Even though they were unwilling to accept this, they did not say anything. The saber-toothed tiger had already said so much. If they still did not relent, wouldn't they become the same as the long-armed demon ape? Bailey Hongzhuang walked to the side of the lion and was completely relieved. Since the other party had tacitly agreed to their actions, There was no need to worry. Yang Qingxue and Yang Lingfeng also heaved a sigh of relief. It was only a distance of 10 meters, but it felt like it was infinitely far. Every step was frightening. The fox's face also revealed a proud smile. Some people even told us to come see the human race with great fanfare so that we could see the world. I didn't expect that they couldn't even tell the difference between humans and apes. How laughable. The saber-toothed tiger was livid with anger, but the ape behind it said, "That's because you have such scum on your side. That's why this happened." The fox's expression changed as well. This was indeed not a very honorable thing to say. In an instant, all the monsters on the north and south side of the river glared at the long-armed demon ape. If it weren't for this guy, how could they have made such a joke of themselves? The long-armed devil ape was already suffering in silence. Even if it did, no other demonic beast would believe it. Yang Lingfeng could not help but look at it and sigh. This guy is really unlucky. I feel a little sorry for it. You're stupid because of it, little brother? Yang Qingxue smiled. Yang Lingfeng rolled his eyes. Sister, I'm really glad that it didn't take you for himself. Yang Qingxue, the matter of the saints' world had already been discussed, and this matter had made both sides unhappy, so they didn't stay for long. They decided to leave as soon as possible. Bailey Hongzhuang was also very happy. Today's performance could be said to be unexpectedly good, but the earlier they left, the safer they would be. However, before she left, she said, I still have an older brother who is wandering outside. If you see him, I hope you can inform me so that our family can reunite sooner. Don't worry, we'll inform you if we see him. The group of demonic beasts nodded their heads. Bailey Hongzhuang and the others' encounter had already aroused everyone's sympathy, so when they heard this request, everyone agreed without hesitation. Only then did Bailey Hongzhuang reveal a comfortable smile. She couldn't help but wonder where Beichen had gone. She had found the Yang siblings, which meant that all four of them were in this plane. She just didn't know where Beichen was. You're hungry, right? After crossing the river, Bailey Hongzhuang took out a few fruits and handed them to Yang Qingxue and Yang Qingxue. Try it. Chapter 69-41. As soon as the fruit entered their mouths, the two of them noticed the difference in the fruit. Their eyes widened as they stared at Bailey Hongzhuang in disbelief. Hongzhuang, this fruit. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled. This fruit can increase one's elemental energy. That's right. Yang Lingfeng nodded excitedly. What treasure is this? Where did you get it? Yang Qingxue looked at Yang Lingfeng speechlessly. She said embarrassedly, Hongzhuang, it's such a waste to give this fruit to us. This fruit was simply a heavenly treasure. Not only was the elemental energy it contained very rich, it was also very pure. It was simply something that could only be found by chance. Have you guys not eaten this fruit since you came here? Bailey Hongzhuang asked curiously. This fruit could be seen everywhere in the south of the river bank. Most of the demonic beasts relied on this to fill their stomachs. Although the north of the river bank was slightly more barren, it shouldn't be to the extent that they hadn't eaten it before. Oh. Yang Lingfeng shook his head. Then when you guys were imprisoned by those demonic beasts, they didn't give you anything to eat? No. Bailey Hongzhuang was slightly startled. She thought that although the demonic beasts in the north of the river bank were a little violent, they were still very kind. They wouldn't go so far as to not give them anything to eat. Now it seemed that she was wrong. That's not it. Yang Qingxue shook her head. When we were first captured, they gave us some fruits to eat. But we didn't know what they wanted to do at that time, so we didn't eat what they gave us. After that, they also didn't give us anything. Yang Lingfeng regained his senses at this moment. Could it be that they gave us fruits at that time? Bailey Hongzhuang nodded slightly. They should have given us fruits like that. Oh my god. Yang Lingfeng wailed, so I actually missed out on such a treasure? Bailey Hongzhuang smiled faintly but didn't say anything. She didn't think that these two fellows would have such a miserable life after coming here. In comparison, she was living a very comfortable life. I don't want to live anymore. What a waste. Yang Lingfeng thumped his chest and stamped his feet. This feeling was just like when he had rejected Hongzhuang's medicinal pills. Why did he keep doing things that he regretted so much recently? Yang Qingxue's reaction wasn't as exaggerated as Yang Lingfeng's, but it was obvious that she was depressed. Such a great opportunity was missed just like that. How could it not be a pity? Looking at their gloomy expressions, Bailey Hongzhuang smiled faintly and took out some fruits for them. Open your stomach and eat as much as you want. The two of them stared blankly at the fruit in their hands before looking at the beautiful woman in front of them with some doubt. Is what you said true? Of course. Bailey Hongzhuang chuckled. You guys have been treated as coolies by the demonic beasts for a while now. Life hasn't been easy. When we get back, I'll make some delicious food for you guys. When Fox and the others heard this, they also came over excitedly. White guy, I wonder if we have a share? Lion said in all seriousness, no matter what, we've been of great help today. Rock, what did you help with? I flew them over and back. Lion emphasized. Chapter 69-42. Looking at the anxious Rock, Bailey Hongzhuang chuckled and said, Don't worry, all of you have a share. Rock was relieved and gave up the idea of fighting with the lion. Hee, that's good. None of you have any news about Beichin? Bailey Hongzhuang lowered her voice, a complicated look on her face. Yang Qingxue shook her head slightly. No, we didn't hear any other monster beasts mention seeing a human in the north of the river. They probably didn't find any trace of Beichin. Have you confirmed it here as well? Bailey Hongzhuang frowned. During this time, I have been looking for you here. Fox and the others have almost helped me search everywhere, but I didn't see you. This time, I heard that there was news about a human on the other side of the river and guessed that it should be you, so I came here. I see. Yang Qingxue sighed and said, Don't worry, with Beichin's strength, he will be fine here. That's right, look at how well you are doing here and look at the two of us. Yang Lingfeng looked at his big sister. Before coming here, she said that she would take good care of Hongzhuang and the others, but now it seemed that it was Hongzhuang who was taking care of them. What a slap in the face. I think Beichin's situation should be similar to yours. The depression of not being able to see Beichin dissipated a little after Yang Lingfeng made such a fuss. Bailey Hongzhuang knew that they were doing this to make her feel relieved. The other monster beasts have already said that they will help us search. Even if Beichin is on the other side of the river, there will be news about him. Let's go back and wait for the news. This time, the matter had already become so big. Logically speaking, there wouldn't be any demonic beasts that would target them again, so they could relax. That's true. Yang Lingfeng smiled. I didn't expect these monster beasts to be so simple-minded. Are you trying to show how stupid you are by saying that? Yang Qingxue suddenly asked. Yang Lingfeng. Sis, will you die if you don't poke at my sore spot? Only then did Yang Qingxue regain her composure. Hongzhuang, that long-armed demon ape will definitely hold a grudge against us because of this matter. You can't let your guard down. Any one of the demonic beasts was at least at the elementary immortal realm. With their current strength, they were no match for them at all. Don't worry, Fox and the others will take care of this. Bailey Hongzhuang turned to look at Fox. Don't you think so, Fox? White guy, don't worry. I won't let the long-armed demon ape bully you again. Thank you very much. Why are you being so polite? Bailey Hongzhuang turned back. Yang Qingxue and Yang Lingfeng's eyes were full of envy. It was obvious that Hongzhuang had completely integrated with these monster beasts. She didn't even need to do these things herself. At this moment, the three monster beasts saw Bailey Hongzhuang and the others gathered together. The three of them also gathered together. Lion, do you think White Guy's brother and sister are here? Will they go back to their previous residence? Fox, I don't think so. Aren't they going back the way we came? Rock, maybe White Guy still has a lot of things there and wants to go back this time to take them? Lion and Fox glared at Rock. Shut up, you jinx. Chapter 69-43. Rock showed a rare serious expression. I'm a rock. Crows are small birds. We're not even of the same race. Fox, Lion, don't think that you can just keep quiet. I'm going to explain everything to you today. Rock said with a serious expression. It looked like he wouldn't stop until he explained everything to them. All right. Fox patted Rock's shoulder. We know you're not a crow, all right? Then why did you call me a crow? Fox turned around. He didn't want to talk to this guy anymore. Otherwise he would die from anger. Lion looked at Rock silently. Brains are good things. Brains are good things? Rock was confused. What do you mean? Because the Rock's movements were too loud, even Yang Qingxue and Yang Qingxue's attention was attracted. They didn't hear the first part of the conversation, only the second part. Their heads were suddenly filled with doubts. Hongzhuang this. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips twitched. Although these three guys don't have brains, Fox and Lion are still better than Rock. Yang Qingxue nodded. I can see that. Yang Lingfeng, me too. Compared to the anxiety they felt when they came, the journey back was more like a sightseeing tour. Fox and Fox knew that Bailey Hongzhuang hadn't seen these things before. They were in a hurry when they left, so they didn't have much time to stay. Naturally, it was much more convenient for them to return. When they arrived at the Sea of Flowers, Fox said, "White guy, don't you like the scenery here? Why don't you stay here for a few days?" Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the scenery nearby. Then she looked at Yang Qingxue and Fox. "What do you think?" Yang Qingxue was already conquered by the beautiful scenery in front of her. Everything here was so beautiful that it was like a painting. The scenery in the chaotic immortal realm was not bad. Many places were very beautiful. However, none of them could be compared to this place. Pure and clean, the azure sky was untainted by even a speck of dust, and the white clouds seemed to be within reach. The alluring fragrance of flowers mixed with the faint smell of grass spread through the nose, making one feel relaxed and happy. In such an environment, it was as if all the noise and annoyance would disappear, leaving only the original heart. "I really didn't expect there to be such a place in this world." Yang Qingxue sighed from the bottom of her heart. This place was a pure land, a paradise. The chaotic immortal realm was too chaotic and all kinds of things were too troublesome. However, this was a place where all the troubles disappeared. "Can we stay here for a few days?" Bailey Hongzhuang asked. "Okay." Yang Qingxue nodded without hesitation. Even Yang Lingfeng was very happy. "I'm willing to live in such a place forever." The three demonic beasts were also very happy to see this scene. The fox proudly raised its eyebrows. Their battle goal could be considered to be half completed. "How is it? Is this a good idea?" the fox said with a smile. The lion nodded. "Let's do it. We can't let White Guy and the others leave." Chapter 69-44. The fox and lion were stunned when they heard the rock's words. Both of them stared at it. "Why are you looking at me like that?" The rock felt a little guilty. "Idiot, you don't usually give us any useful suggestions. I didn't expect you to give us such a good suggestion." The fox patted the rock's head excitedly. They had been worried that the white guy and the others would return to where they came from. After all, the white guy and the others were from a branch of the ape clan. There was quite a distance between where they lived and where the apes lived. Now that they thought about it, they could just move with the white guy. After all, it didn't matter where they lived. "Hee, we don't have to worry anymore." The lion heaved a sigh of relief. The huge rock that had been hanging in its heart for the past 2 days was finally lifted. After living near the Sea of Flowers for a few days, Yang Qingxue and Yang Lingfeng recovered from their fear of the demonic beasts. Back then, the two of them wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. The demonic beasts were just too strong. There was no way for them to survive. However, after following Hongzhuang for a few days and witnessing the transformation of an enemy into an ally, they felt that this place was incomparably safe. "This place is amazing. The food here can actually increase one's origin energy. If the other people in the realm of chaotic immortal found out about this, I'm afraid countless people would want to break into this random secret realm." Even though Yang Lingfeng had been here for a while, he still found it hard to believe that such a magical place existed in this world. Compared to the realm of chaotic immortal where people tried to cheat each other and snatch cultivation resources, this place was simply too beautiful. Bailey Hongzhuang couldn't help but frown when she heard that. After witnessing the beauty of this place, she really didn't want anyone to come and destroy it. She had never doubted the abilities of the human race. If everyone knew that such a place existed, even the cultivators from the realm of chaotic immortal would be attracted to it, let alone the realm of chaotic immortal. At that time, the destruction that would occur would be, this is a random secret realm. Even if they entered, they might not be able to reach this place. Yang Qingxue noticed the change in Bailey Hongzhuang's expression and understood her worries. After all, she could feel that Hongzhuang and the three demonic beasts had a very good relationship. These three fellows were obviously very strong, but they had always followed Hongzhuang's lead. Even she felt that it was very interesting. No one would want to hurt such a pure friend. "Do many people know about this random secret realm?" Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the two of them. The location of this mystic realm was inside Qingyang City. Perhaps the city lord would have a solution. This secret realm has been around for quite some time. However, according to the information that has been spread out, the possibility of random teleportation is too high. I have never heard of this place before. Yang Qingxue said seriously, "According to my father's judgment, this entrance faces many planes, so no one can choose a plane to enter. You don't have to worry about it for now." Chapter 69-45. A few days later, Bailey Hongzhuang and the rest finally set off for their original residence. Yang Qingxue and Yang Feng looked at the cave abode in front of them, their faces filled with shock. Hongzhuang, I didn't expect you to have your own cave abode after staying here for a while. Fox and the rest helped me make this. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled and said. Being called out, the three demon beasts smiled foolishly. Bai Yin, you've been living quite comfortably here before, haven't you? Bai Yin? Bailey Hongzhuang nodded. Living here is indeed very comfortable. It's all thanks to your help. Hehe, you're welcome. Yang Qingxue and Yang Feng looked at each other. These three fellows were so stupid that they were adorable. Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the three of them stuttering as if they wanted to say something but didn't. She couldn't help but furrow her beautiful brows. You've been whispering to each other for the past few days. Is there something going on? No, no, no. The three demon beasts waved their hands in unison, their expressions clearly showing that they didn't mean what they said. You're not going to say anything? Bailey Hongzhuang raised her brows. Then you'll have to find your own food in the future. Don't? The three demon beasts panicked. Rock hurriedly said, Bai Yin, we were just thinking that if you wanted to move away, we'd go with you. Fox, Lion, Yang Qingxue and Yang Lingfeng. That was quick. Move away. Why would I move away? Bailey Hongzhuang asked in confusion. You stayed here because you couldn't find your brother and sister. We were worried that you might leave after you found them. Fox sighed and told the truth. At this moment, Bailey Hongzhuang finally understood. So this was what the three of them had been whispering to each other all this time. She found it funny and at the same time touched. Don't worry, I have no plans to move back now. Upon hearing this, Lion heaved a sigh of relief. That's good. I knew it. It's good that you're staying with us. No one will bully you. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled. Yes, that's right. I'll have to rely on you to take care of me. At this time, the rock suddenly said, White guy, if you don't plan to move now, do you plan to move in the future? Bailey Hongzhuang was stunned. This guy usually didn't catch the main point when he spoke. She didn't expect him to notice this time. Fox also turned his gaze. White guy, is what Rock said true? I was just saying it casually. Bailey Hongzhuang was a little guilty. The environment where we originally lived is not as good as here. Besides, the long-armed demon ape used to live in that area. We don't want to go back at all. The fox stared at Bailey Hongzhuang for a moment. The latter even thought that her words had been exposed. The fox turned his eyes away, his face full of pride as he said, I said, what's so good about the ape tribe's place? That group of guys doesn't look cute, how can it be better than us? That's right, that's right. Bailey Hongzhuang agreed. I don't want to go to those guys' place at all. Hehe, that's good. After hearing this, the three demon beasts were very happy. With no worries, they began to return to their original appearance and even continued to do business. Chapter 6946. Hongzhuang, what's going on? Yang Lingfeng looked at the demonic beasts carrying various kinds of birds and beasts over. Moreover, their faces were full of smiles as if they were afraid that Hongzhuang would reject them. There was actually such a thing? Looks like I've underestimated you. You're practically the king of this mountain. I thought you'd at most become friends with these demonic beasts. I didn't expect you to have a group of demonic beast underlings. Yang Lingfeng's face was full of envy. It was as if he was completely immersed in his own fantasy. A group of demonic beast underlings that were even stronger than the elementary immortal realm. This was simply the pinnacle of life. Bailey Hongzhuang saw that this fellow was getting more and more ridiculous. She couldn't help but shake her head and say, You're thinking too much. I'm just helping to cook. Hearing this, Yang Lingfeng was stunned and said in astonishment, Cook? Why did you change your profession to become a chef? Do you know how difficult it is to obtain these ingredients? Bailey Hongzhuang raised her eyebrows. The birds and beasts here were not weak and they ran very fast. Even if the fox and the rest went out to hunt, they could only catch a limited number of them each day. However, on the other hand, the increase in origin power was also more abundant, so she was very happy to cook. Even so, it doesn't suit your status as the king of this mountain. Yang Lingfeng sighed. I'll help them to make dishes and I can still keep some for myself. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curled. If you don't like it, then don't eat it when it's done. Yang Lingfeng's expression suddenly changed. I was talking nonsense just now. Being a chef for demonic beasts depends on whether you have the ability or not. Look at me, I can't even do it if I want to. Yang Lingfeng was thick-skinned, completely forgetting his previous look of disdain. Bailey Hongzhuang, hehe. This fellow had completely given up on his face recently. Yang Qingxue shook her head. She didn't want to talk to this fellow anymore. Ever since he was captured by demonic beasts, this fellow had become more and more shameless. It was simply embarrassing. Hongzhuang, there are so many ingredients. Let me help you. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled. All right. She hadn't been back for a few days and these demonic beasts had gathered a lot of ingredients. She had to cook a lot today. Yang Qingxue handed some of the ingredients to Yang Lingfeng. Here, don't just sit here. Go and prepare them. Me? Yang Lingfeng pointed at himself. Sis, I've never done such a thing before. You've never done it before, but do you think we've done it before? Yang Qingxue had already made up her mind. All right. Yang Lingfeng felt that his sister's words made sense. In order to thank Hongzhuang for saving my life, leave the plucking to me. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded her head in satisfaction. At least you still have a little bit of gratitude. After a while, Yang Lingfeng returned with a head full of feathers. He was also holding the processed ingredients in his hands. I've already taken care of it. Acheh. Yang Lingfeng sneezed. It had only been a short while, but he already felt that there were countless feathers flying around him. Yang Qingxue was dumbfounded when she saw Yang Lingfeng's appearance. Not only did he have feathers stuck to his hair, but his body was also pitch black and messy. Lingfeng, where did you go? Chapter 69-47. Xiao Hei covered her eyes. The scene of Yang Lingfeng plucking the feathers was simply unbearable to look at. This method simply couldn't compare to it. I think you should just forget about it. Yang Qingxue shook her head. This posture was simply more exaggerated than a fight. Yang Lingfeng was very insistent. That won't do. I said I'll do this, so I'll do it. No one is to snatch it from me. Then I'll leave it all to you. Bailey Hongzhuang chuckled. Since you've already become like this, once you're done, let the fox bring you to the river to take a bath. You should be able to eat it when you come back. All right. Yang Lingfeng's eyes lit up. A dish that could make these demonic beasts look forward to it must taste very good. In fact, this was the case. After Yang Lingfeng tasted the dish once, he had already taken on the task of plucking all the feathers. Whoever dared to snatch it from him, he would get angry because only in this way could he eat with a clear conscience. Ever since Bailey Hongzhuang returned, she had been waiting for news about Beichen. Now that the demonic beasts on both sides of the river knew of their existence, they would no longer treat them as an alien race. Therefore, as long as they found Beichen, this news would definitely spread to their ears very quickly. However, as time passed and they didn't hear any news about Beichen, everyone fell into helplessness. Hongzhuang, don't think too much. I think Beichen will definitely be fine. Yang Qingxue noticed that as time passed, Hongzhuang's worry grew stronger. Actually, I think we might have overlooked a place. Yang Lingfeng saw that the atmosphere was a little gloomy and suddenly said, What place? Look, this entire world doesn't only consist of the two sides of the river. Isn't there another place that we know of? Hearing this, Bailey Hongzhuang understood. You're talking about the Holy Realm? That's right. Yang Lingfeng nodded. Although the fox and the others said that the passage to the Holy Realm only opens once in many years, and ordinary demonic beasts can't pass through it all, we're different. We were randomly teleported here, so Beichen might have been randomly teleported to the Saint's world. Bailey Hongzhuang sank into her thoughts. She had originally considered this possibility as well, but she felt that it was a little too unlikely. After all, so many demonic beasts had been trying their best to enter the Saint's world, but to no avail. If Beichen had directly gone to the Saint's world. Hongzhuang, although Lingfeng's words are usually unreliable, I think what he said today makes sense. Sis, why are my words so unreliable? Yang Qingxue glanced at him. Don't you know? Not sure. With Beichen's strength, he should have found us long ago if he appeared on the banks of the river. The only possibility right now is that he's in the Saint's world, which is why we can't find him and he can't find us. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded slightly. There was less than a year until the passage to the Saint's world opened. If Beichen really was there, then they would be able to meet him soon. I heard the fox say that the demonic beasts in the Saint's world are much stronger than the outside world. I wonder if Beichen will be in danger if he goes there. Bailey Hongzhuang frowned slightly. She couldn't help but worry. If the demonic beasts in the Saint's world weren't so gullible, then things would be troublesome. Chapter 69-48. In the following days, the three of them began to cultivate. Bailey Hongzhuang had already handed the task of cooking to Yang Qingxue and Yang Lingfeng every day. Yang Lingfeng was now able to handle the ingredients with ease, and no one could compare to him. Yang Qingxue's culinary skills had also been taught by Hongzhuang. She was already very smart, and after practicing for a while under Hongzhuang's guidance, she was able to cook on her own. Bailey Hongzhuang was also happy and relaxed about this. She and Xiaohei would still occasionally help the demonic beasts make clothes. After all, demonic beasts were bestial creatures, and there was a high possibility that they would tear their clothes. Therefore, every once in a while demonic beasts would come to ask for help to make another one. After a few months, Xiaohei had also developed a good craftsmanship. "Master, these clothes of yours are very beautiful." Xiaohei looked at the clothes in Bailey Hongzhuang's hands. Recently, the clothes that the demonic beasts needed were basically made by her. There was nothing that her master needed to do. "Who are these clothes for?" Bailey Hongzhuang smiled slightly and raised the half-made clothes in her hands. Xiaohei recognized them at a glance. "These are for the fox?" "Yes." Bailey Hongzhuang nodded. "Foxes love beauty the most. Their clothes have to be made to look better." Not to mention other things, as more and more clothes were made, her craftsmanship was really getting better and better. In the past, she only needed to make clothes that could be worn. Now she could actually design her own style. "Master, didn't you already make a set for them before?" Xiaohei was a little confused. Master had made a new set for them some time ago. At that time the three of them were very happy. Bailey Hongzhuang's expression became complicated. "Once we go to the Holy Realm we should be able to find Beichen. Whether Beichen is willing or not, we won't be staying here for too long. Since foxes like to wear these clothes so much, I have to make more of them, but they don't want to learn." After spending some time together, she was almost used to having the three of them by her side. Usually, whenever they saw something interesting, these three fellows would almost immediately run to her to show off their treasures. She might as well give them some interesting things. Basically, every time she took out something, these fellows would take it out to show off. "It's good to make more." Yang Qingxue also walked over. "Although they like bright red the most, I think it's not bad to try other colors." Bailey Hongzhuang glanced at Yang Qingxue and found a trace of reluctance in the latter's eyes. She was surprised, but at the same time she understood. Recently, Yang Qingxue had also become familiar with the three demon beasts. As for Yang Lingfeng, he had become one of the three demon beasts. They had almost become four brothers. Not only that, this fellow even went to ask other demonic beasts about the secret of breaking through to the elementary immortal stage. However, the demonic beasts' answers almost depressed him to death. This was because they did not find it difficult at all. They only felt that they could break through by eating. Yang Lingfeng asked around and found that everyone's situation was similar. He was completely speechless. In the end, he placed all his hopes on eating. Now, if there was anyone who could eat more than Xiaohei, it would undoubtedly be Yang Lingfeng. Chapter 69-49. I feel that if I continue to stay here, I'll have a high chance of breaking through to the elementary celestial stage. Yang Lingfeng's face was filled with excitement. He had been stuck at the Radiant Sun stage for many years. All these years he had been trying his best to raise his cultivation level. He had also tried his best to obtain all kinds of pills that could help him break through. However, he had not been able to break through. Ever since Hongzhuang had given him a pill during the Formation Master competition, he had been filled with confidence. He wanted to use these few years to try to break through again. Even so, he knew that the chances were slim. However, he had only stayed here for a few months and he felt that his strength had improved by quite a bit. The elemental energy that filled this fruit was too pure. Under the injection of this elemental energy, his elemental energy seemed to have undergone a qualitative upgrade. The overall feeling was different. Looking at Yang Lingfeng's excited expression, Yang Qingxue nodded in agreement. "This is indeed a great place for cultivation." Bailey Hongzhuang smiled. "I heard that the origin energy in the holy world is even denser. Who knows, maybe Beichen has already broken through to the elementary celestial stage." When he was in the comprehension tablets, Beichen had already touched the barrier to breaking through. If he was really in the holy world, he might really have a chance to break through. Yang Lingfeng, who was originally very excited, became a little discouraged when he heard this. That's possible. Beichen has only been in the Radiant Sun stage for a short while. If he broke through to the elementary celestial stage, it would be too much of a blow to him. Beichen is better than you in terms of strength, talent, and luck. Yang Qingxue glanced at Yang Lingfeng and said, All these years there has never been news of a comprehension tablet that can increase a cultivator's cultivation level. However, I heard that after Beichen's incident, the competition for a spot to enter the comprehension tablet has become even more intense. As expected, Yang Lingfeng was not surprised. It's a pity that I'm not a formation master. Otherwise I would want to fight for a spot. Alright, maybe some people can't break through, so they might as well take this opportunity to learn formation masters. That crazy? Bailey Hongzhuang was surprised. Isn't that so? You have no idea how many people in the chaotic immortal realm are willing to risk everything just to make a breakthrough. Yang Lingfeng was already used to it. How many cultivators had lost their lives in order to break through? Compared to learning array techniques, it was really nothing. At this moment, Yang Lingfeng suddenly laughed mischievously. Do you think Beichen will be as unlucky as me? What if he is treated as a foreign race by those demon beasts in the holy world? What if he is reduced to a coolie? As soon as he said that, Bailey Hongzhuang and Yang Qingxue just looked at him quietly without saying anything. Why are you looking at me like that? It's not impossible. Yang Lingfeng said seriously. Beichen doesn't know how to sew or cook. Do you think Beichen is like you? Yang Qingxue rolled her eyes in disgust. Yang Lingfeng said, Sister, don't forget that you and I were captured to be laborers. Yang Qingxue, at least I have some sense of shame, unlike you. Yang Lingfeng, me? What's wrong with me? Yang Qingxue, shut up. You have the nerve to say that. Bailey Hongzhuang thought for a moment and finally decided to call the three demonic beasts over. Chapter 6950. Fox, have you been to the holy world before? Yes, we have. Then do you know what the demonic beasts in the holy world are like? Are they similar to you? Bailey Hongzhuang's expression was serious. This was her main focus. The fox thought for a moment, then looked at the lion and rock. They're similar, right? There's no difference. Those guys are just a little stronger than us and a little more arrogant. Other than that, there's no difference. The lion nodded. What if they're smarter than us? The fox stood up. If we're talking about smarts, then of course I'm the smartest. Yang Lingfeng. I knew you'd say that. Are you sure? Of course. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips gradually curled up. If the demonic beasts in the holy world were like that, then she believed that Beichen wouldn't be in danger there. In the blink of an eye, a year's time was almost up. In the past few days, Bailey Hongzhuang clearly felt that the surrounding demonic beasts had become much more active. They were all beaming with joy, obviously waiting to set off for the holy world. Fox, when are we setting off for the holy world? Yang Lingfeng moved closer to the fox, looking more excited than the other demonic beasts. We should set off in 3 days. That's the day we agreed to set off with the demonic beasts on the other side of the river. Do we need to prepare anything? Will the journey be dangerous? Yang Lingfeng asked. The fox shook its head. It's hard to say. I've only been to the holy world once. It's said that the situation is different every year, so there's no need to prepare. Just do whatever you want. Is that really okay? Yang Lingfeng's lips twitched. Because they didn't know what they would encounter, they didn't prepare anything. That was really impressive. Of course it's okay. The fox looked serious, then turned to the lion beside it. Am I right? Very right. The lion nodded. We don't know what it's like anyway, so why waste time? Rock also came over. What do you think we should bring along for the journey? There wasn't much food on the riverbank. The fox and the lion's eyes lit up. They immediately ran back to their residence and began to think about what they should bring. Yang Lingfeng looked at the three fellows who had disappeared in the blink of an eye and couldn't help but ask, is it really reliable to trust them? It should be reliable. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded. What? Yang Lingfeng didn't understand. Think about it. Even Fox and the others were able to enter the saint's world before. That means the path there shouldn't be too difficult. Yang Lingfeng was stunned for a moment before a look of understanding appeared on his face. You're still the best. I actually didn't think of this. 3 days later, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others were ready to set out. However, they found that the three fellows were still in the cave. They couldn't help but walk over. Just as they walked out of the door, they heard the sound of an argument coming from inside. Bring this. No, I think it's better to bring this. It tastes better. Of course I'll bring this. This is the best. As they walked in, they saw 3 demonic beasts arguing over what fruit to bring. It's time. We should head out, Yang Qingxue reminded. Chapter 69-51. Hong Zhuang, hurry up and stop them. Yang Qingxue hurriedly looked towards Bailey Hong Zhuang. She had seen the three of them quarreling endlessly. If they were allowed to continue quarreling like this, who knew when they would be able to set off today? It's useless to say anything now. This is a matter of status. Rock said seriously. Bailey Hong Zhuang, Yang Qingxue, and Yang Lingfeng. You really dare to say that? Since when did you have status? Just as the three demon beasts were chattering endlessly, Bailey Hong Zhuang suddenly kept all the food in front of her. The three demon beasts saw the food suddenly disappear and were stunned. Where did the food go? White guy, where did you put it? It's gone. Now you don't have to fight anymore. The three demon beasts were stunned. Then they cried out sorrowfully, "No!" Seeing this, Bailey Hong Zhuang found it very funny. Then she placed a Qinghuan pouch in front of the three demon beasts. I'll give you this precious pouch. In the future, you don't have to fight over this when you go out. Regarding the Qinghuan pouch, she had wanted to give it to the three demon beasts for a long time. However, she didn't know how to explain the origin of the Qinghuan pouch. As the time they spent together grew longer, the worry in her heart gradually lessened. In addition, the three demon beasts would fight for half a day every time they went out. With the Qinghuan pouch, these problems were easily solved. The three demon beasts stared at the Qinghuan pouch in front of them in confusion. Precious pouch? White guy, don't lie to us. Doesn't this thing look like a cloth pouch? Looking at the three demon beasts' suspicious faces, Bailey Hong Zhuang raised her eyebrows. Do you want it? If not, then forget it. Don't, of course I want it since it's a free gift. The fox quickly snatched it over. Bailey Hong Zhuang. You're so straightforward. The fox looked at the cloth pouch in its eyes. When it realized that the pouch had the space of a house, it was stunned. Oh my god, there's actually such a bag in this world. This is too amazing. Lion and Rock also came over. What happened? What's so special about this bag? After understanding the functions of the bag one by one, the eyes of the three demonic beasts were already twinkling with little stars. They looked at Bailey Hong Zhuang with eyes full of worship. White guy, you're a genius. How did you get this thing? I got it by chance, Bailey Hong Zhuang said slowly. Yang Lingfeng. This excuse of yours is too careless. However, when the three demonic beasts heard this, they did not doubt it at all. Instead, they were pleasantly surprised and said, "This white guy is indeed extraordinary. Even the things he obtained by chance are so powerful. The white guy has always been gifted. I've noticed this long ago." That's right. That's it. The corners of Yang Lingfeng's mouth twitched. As three demonic beasts at the elementary celestial stage, is it really okay for you to worship him so blindly? Is this pouch really for us? Bailey Hong Zhuang turned her head and saw three pairs of eyes twinkling with little stars. She had to admit that when these three demonic beasts acted cute, it was quite lethal. Chapter 69-52. The three demonic beasts nodded in unison. At this moment they no longer had any objections. Bailey Hong Zhuang and the other two heaved a sigh of relief. If they had allowed the three demonic beasts to continue arguing like this, who knows how much time they would have wasted here. Along the way, the three demonic beasts mumbled and played with the Qinghuan pouch in their hands. This was simply the most miraculous treasure they had ever seen. Such a miraculous pouch, it'll be convenient for us to go out in the future. We can even put in the fruits we plucked along the way. We can't tell the other demonic beasts this secret, huh? That's right, that's right. We must keep it a secret. Bailey Hong Zhuang and the other two listened to the conversation of the three demonic beasts. These three fellows thought that they were very secretive when they spoke, but when would they ever change their habit of speaking? Along the way, they constantly encountered other demonic beasts. Some of the demonic beasts that they were more familiar with would also greet each other. However, they did not form a huge group to travel together. Even so, as they traveled further and further, many groups were getting closer and closer. Bailey Hong Zhuang looked at the route they were taking and could not help but frown because she felt that this route was very familiar. Fox, are we going to the other side of the river? This route was clearly the one they had taken when they were heading to the other side of the river. Could it be that the holy world was also on the other side? The fox shook its head. We're not going to the other side of the river. We're going to that river. That river? Yang Qingxue was confused. Are we going to follow that river to the holy world? That's right. The lion nodded. The holy world is going to pass through that river. Hearing this, Bailey Hong Zhuang and the other two looked at each other. They had already experienced the power of that river. With their cultivation, They could only stay on the lion's back to withstand the demonic wind. Moreover, it was extremely difficult. If they could, they really did not want to cross the river again. They never thought that they would have to pass through this river to reach the holy world. Just thinking about the process was enough. The fox and the others did not notice the change in the three's emotions at all. They were completely immersed in the excitement of going to the holy world. Several days later, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others arrived at the river. At the same time, many other demonic beasts had also arrived. Are we going down the river now? Yang Lingfeng looked at the calm river in front of him, his eyes filled with fear. He felt that this river was truly miraculous. From afar, it looked as if there were no waves, but once one entered it, they would feel the terrifying waves. No, we have to row over on a bamboo raft. Fox shook his head and pointed at the monsters on the side. Look, they've already cut down the trees. We have to speed up, otherwise we'll fall behind. Looking in the direction the fox was pointing, they noticed that many demonic beasts on the other side had already started to get busy. Make a bamboo raft. Yang Lingfeng blushed with shame. Everything in this place was very primitive. If he wanted to cross the river, he had to make a bamboo raft himself. Then let's get started. Bailey Hongzhuang didn't say much and followed Rock to the other side to cut down trees. Chapter 69-53. Actually, I don't understand either. Yang Qingxue shrugged. The longer she stayed in this place, the more she couldn't understand. I've realized that the best thing to do in this place is to not use your brain. That way everything will seem more natural. If you think about it yourself, you won't be able to understand it. Yang Lingfeng sighed. Hearing this, Yang Qingxue stared at him blankly for a moment, then nodded and said, You're absolutely right. Just as Bailey Hongzhuang and the others were about to cut down the trees to make a bamboo raft, suddenly, a cry of envy came from not far away. Wow, look at that boat, it's so beautiful. It looks so much better than our bamboo raft. How much effort did it take to make it? These guys on the other side of the river must be unhappy that we were suppressed last time, so they thought of a way to make a boat like this. After seeing this scene, the fox's face fell. I knew that these guys wouldn't let it go so easily. It turns out that they put all their effort into this. There's nothing we can do about it. Our bamboo raft is destined to be suppressed. The monsters on the south side of the river were distressed. The other party had come prepared, and it was obvious that it would take a lot of effort to make a boat like this. In such a sudden situation, they weren't prepared at all, so it was even more impossible for them to fight back. The saber-toothed tiger and a group of monsters were sitting on the boat, and they even deliberately stopped by the river bank. Your speed is too slow. We might as well wait for you. I didn't expect that it's been 300 years since the last opening of the Holy World, and you're still making bamboo rafts here. Aren't you a little too backward? Seeing that you're all dressed up, I thought that you're all very capable now. Turns out that you're just doing your own thing. You don't even have the slightest bit of teamwork. TSK. Facing the saber-toothed tiger's ridicule, the fox and the other monsters' faces had already turned gloomy. However, even if they were unwilling to accept it, they could only swallow it down. If they fought back, the other party would continue to chatter, and they would be the ones to lose face in the end. When Bailey Hongzhuang and the others returned, they heard these words. When the saber-toothed tiger saw Bailey Hongzhuang, its eyes turned red. A year ago, it was because of this fellow that it had lost face in front of so many demonic beasts. Since then, its status had been questioned a lot. So much so that it had spent the past year trying to eliminate the impact of the previous incident. Fortunately, he remembered to use the ship to turn the tables. Otherwise, he didn't know how long it would take to eliminate these effects. Fortunately, the effect was quite good. White guy, aren't you very smart? Why did he slack off in the past year? I thought you would bring us a surprise. The saber-toothed tiger chuckled and cast a disdainful look at Bailey Hongzhuang. Saber-toothed tiger, you're getting more and more shameless. You're actually targeting such a young demonic beast. You're really shameless. The fox glared angrily. This fellow actually dared to target the white fellow like this. He was simply abominable. Chapter 69-54. Once those words were spoken, the group of demon beasts to the south of the river fell silent. They knew very well that Bailey Hongzhuang and the others' cultivation levels were indeed a little too weak. Even if they were to enter the Holy Realm, the chances of them obtaining the Holy Spirit fruit would be very slim. However, none of them cared. It was not a big deal to make a trip there anyway. Now that the saber-toothed tiger had brought it up, they felt a little embarrassed. You don't have to worry about that. The fox rolled his eyes. If you have the time, you'd better mind your own business. We don't need you to worry about us. The saber-toothed tiger sneered. Do as you wish. You can continue building your little wooden raft. Aha, you've only just started building your wooden raft. You'll definitely be slower than us. The demon beasts to the north of the river were pleased with themselves. They had spent a lot of time building this boat. Although it had taken a lot of effort, they felt that the results today were not bad at all. It seems that we're being targeted again. Young Lingfeng raised an eyebrow, his face showing a hint of anger. It's a pity that I don't have a boat in my storage ring. Otherwise I'd give them a slap in the face. Yang Qingxue suddenly exclaimed, You're actually competing with a group of demon beasts? Aren't you angry? Yang Lingfeng retorted, It's because I've been taunted by a group of demon beasts that I'm even angrier. Ever since they had arrived at this place, they had always been worse off than the demon beasts. Now they had to watch as the group of demon beasts who had once enslaved them walked past them with their heads held high. How could they not be angry? I'm very angry too. Yang Qingxue stomped her foot. I'm so angry. Logic told her that there was no need for her to be angry over something like this. However, under such circumstances she felt that she was one of the demon beasts. There's nothing we can do. Who asked us to not have a boat? Yang Lingfeng spread out his hands. There was no point in feeling depressed now. The fox looked worriedly at Bailey Hongzhuang. Little white guy, you don't have to take the saber-toothed tiger's words to heart. The Holy Spirit fruit is very hard to come by. It's normal that you can't get your hands on it. Just take it as a chance to join in the fun. Next time, I believe that you'll definitely get your hands on the Holy Spirit fruit. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled. Thank you for trusting me. Didn't we not get the saber-toothed tiger before? Ignore it. Fox waved his hand and turned his gaze to the trees at the side. Let's move quickly or we'll really fall behind. No need. Bailey Hongzhuang shook her head. We can leave now. Hearing this, Fox and the others were stunned. Set off directly? Follow me, I'll take you to a place. After Bailey Hongzhuang finished speaking, she turned around and walked in another direction. Seeing this, Yang Qingxue and the other two as well as the three demonic beasts quickly followed her. There were no other demonic beasts in this area. When the three demonic beasts arrived, they saw a silver ship in front of them. The shape of this ship was exquisite and gorgeous. At first glance, one could tell that it was not simple. Compared to the wooden ships made by the demon beasts in the north of the river, this ship was simply many times better. The rock rubbed his eyes and stared at the silver ship in disbelief. I'm not dreaming, am I? Heavens, why is there a ship here? The lion was completely stunned. I must be dreaming. Chapter 69-55. The rock looked at Yang Lingfeng. Hey, hurry up and tell us that we're not dreaming. Yang Lingfeng also looked at the boat that had suddenly appeared in front of them with a confused expression, and said hesitantly, maybe we're really dreaming. The anticipation on the faces of the three demonic beasts instantly disappeared. It's over, it's actually a dream, we're dreaming in broad daylight for no reason. Looking at the two people and three demonic beasts in front of her, and then listening to their conversation, Bailey Hongzhuang couldn't help but laugh. Look carefully, you're not dreaming. The nightingale's voice woke them up, and after regaining their senses, the three demonic beasts immediately rushed over, and stretched out their hands to touch the boat in front of them. The ice-cold touch clearly told them that it wasn't an illusion in front of them, but reality. Wow, white guy, where did you get such a ship? The fox looked at Bailey Hongzhuang in surprise, its eyes filled with excitement. You don't have to worry about that anyway, we can set off now. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled slightly. This was all thanks to her previous experience in the ocean world. If it wasn't for the fact that they could only travel by boat in the ocean world, she wouldn't have kept such a boat in her chaos ring. This boat wasn't any ordinary boat, whether it was in terms of sturdiness or speed, it was much stronger. This was a magical weapon. It's over, it's over. The fox's eyes sparkled with little stars and directly pounced on Bailey Hongzhuang. White fellow, when you grow up, I'll marry you. Bailey Hongzhuang was stunned, and looked in astonishment at the fox in front of her whose face was filled with anticipation. This fellow? What on earth was he talking about? Yang Lingfeng and Yang Qingxue's expressions also became extremely strange. Beichen had only been away for a year, and Hongzhuang had already created a demonic beast love rival. However, without waiting for Bailey Hongzhuang to reply, the lion immediately jumped out. No way, no way. If you're going to marry someone, you should marry me. How can that small body of yours give you a sense of security compared to my tall and mighty figure? No way you should marry me. I like white guys the most. Rock was not convinced. After I marry the white girl, I can fly with her wherever I want. You two short-legged things can only stay on the ground. Who said we can't fly? You're talking nonsense. The fox jumped up. The white guy is mine. None of you are allowed to snatch it from me. Bailey Hongzhuang. Yang Lingfeng swallowed his saliva and said, if the three of them knew that Hongzhuang was already married, I wonder what kind of expressions they would have. I'm looking forward to seeing Beichen's expression when he learns about this. Yang Qingxue couldn't help but snicker. Usually, Beichen kept a close eye on Hongzhuang, and they couldn't be more clear about it. Previously, Yang Lingfeng had wanted to hug Hongzhuang out of excitement, but Beichen had forced him to retreat with a glare. Now that these three guys had announced that they wanted to marry Hongzhuang, Beichen probably even had thoughts of killing them. I'm suddenly looking forward to reaching the Holy Realm even more, but I don't know how strong Beichen is right now. These three guys are very strong. Yang Lingfeng frowned and he couldn't help but worry for Beichen. With Beichen's personality, he definitely wouldn't tolerate such a situation, but once a fight broke out, then we don't need to worry. Yang Qingxue chuckled. Anyway, it's fine as long as there's a show to watch. Chapter 6956. Lion, I think you should marry the green one. I think she suits you better. Seeing that the lion and Rock had their eyes on the white one, the fox could only think of a way to divert their attention. Thinking about the green one, wasn't she still single? Yang Qingxue was a little dumbfounded when she saw that she was suddenly involved in this matter. The lion looked at Yang Qingxue and said, I won't do it. Marry her if you want. Rock was also unwilling. Don't try to trick me, I won't do it too. Yang Qingxue. Did it have to be so obvious? Ah. Yang Lingfeng was trying to hold back his laughter at first, but he couldn't hold it in anymore. He didn't expect that his sister would be despised like this one day. He was going to die from laughter. Yang Qingxue narrowed her eyes. You're getting bolder and bolder recently. How dare you laugh at me? Sister, you're venting your anger on me because you can't beat them. Yang Lingfeng shouted as he dodged Yang Qingxue's fists. That's right. Yang Qingxue didn't deny it. I'll hit you. Stop, stop, stop. Yang Lingfeng held his head. Sister, it's okay if you're despised. Anyway, there's still Qingli. He won't despise you. Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the three guys who were arguing and said speechlessly, I'm not interested in any of you, but if you don't leave now, don't you want to be in the limelight in front of the saber-toothed tigers? Hearing this, the three beasts' eyes lit up and they quickly jumped up. Yes, 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 we have to leave now. Without another word, the three beasts picked up the boat and walked towards the river. At the same time, the other beasts on the south side of the river also noticed the boat and their eyes lit up. Wow, isn't this ship a little too beautiful? It's so much better than the saber-toothed tiger's boat. Fox, how did you get this boat? Fox enjoyed everyone's envious and longing gazes. He raised his chin and proudly said, I already guessed that the saber-toothed tiger and the others would definitely not give up, so we prepared such a ship to anger them to death. Then why didn't you take this ship out before? The beasts were puzzled. The fox was stunned for a moment before he boasted shamelessly, then we have to let them be proud first. That way they will suffer even more later. The other demonic beasts nodded in agreement. That makes sense. Fox, you're getting smarter and smarter. The fox smiled. Of course. Xiao Hei looked at the fox's smug expression and could not help but ask, Master, does this count as the fox using its master's power? Bailey Hongzhuang raised her eyebrows and said, Your idioms have been getting better and better. You flatter me. As everyone boarded the ship, some of the demonic beasts also boarded the ship. However, the ship's hull was limited, so it was impossible to accommodate all the demonic beasts. Let's go, let's go. With a cheer from the fox, the lion began to control the ship to move forward. Bailey Hongzhuang looked at the calm lake water. From the moment she stepped onto the boat, she had already noticed that there was no terrifying demonic wind on the surface of the river. This river was just like how it looked on the surface, calm and without waves. There was only a gentle breeze which brought a hint of coolness. Chapter 6957. I thought my hairstyle would be blown into a mess again. I'm a little disappointed that it's so calm. Yang Lingfeng stretched out his hand to feel the breeze, and a smile appeared on his face that deserved a beating. This river is usually very difficult to cross, but when the gate to the holy world opens, the river will return to its calm state, and the terrifying demonic winds will disappear. The fox smiled faintly. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have dared to bring you guys this time. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be able to cross this river, let alone find the entrance to the holy world. No wonder they're preparing to make wooden rafts to cross this waterway. Yang Qingxue came to a realization. Now that I think about it, the holy world is quite sympathetic to them. The lion became more and more excited as it controlled the boat to move forward. It realized that the boat had very little resistance when it moved forward, and its speed was extremely fast. Even if it didn't control it much, its speed was still much faster than the bamboo rafts. Under the control of its elemental energy, its speed was simply astonishing. This boat is really amazing. I guarantee that it won't be long before we catch up to the saber-toothed tiger and the others. The lion said excitedly. Hearing this, the demonic beasts on the boat all revealed looks of anticipation. The saber-toothed tiger and the group of demonic beasts controlled the boat to move forward slowly. This boat was actually built after they heard Yang Lingfeng's suggestion. It was precisely because of Yang Lingfeng's suggestion that they felt that this fellow was somewhat useful, so they were a little more lenient towards him. Who would have thought that something like that would happen later on? But no matter how they looked at it, this fellow was finally of some use. Those fellows in the south of the river think that they're amazing just because they're wearing new clothes. They're just some good-looking but useless things. Isn't that right? Just relying on those bamboo rafts, their speed is definitely not comparable to ours. The group of demonic beasts gathered together, and their faces were full of pride and laughter. Usually, the demonic beasts on both sides of the river didn't have much contact with each other, and it was only at times like this that they had the opportunity to compete. Right at this moment, a surprised voice suddenly sounded. Look, what's that silver thing behind us? It's so bright. I feel like my eyes are going to be blinded by it. It's so fast. It seems like it's rushing towards us. Hearing this, the saber-toothed tiger also turned its gaze. As expected, under the sunlight, a huge silver figure reflected the dazzling light. It was dazzling, eye-catching and dazzling. As it narrowed its eyes, it finally saw the true appearance of the silver figure. That's a ship. The saber-toothed tiger's voice sank, and there was a complicated and hesitant look in its eyes. Why would a ship appear out of nowhere? The other demonic beasts also saw that it was an extremely dazzling silver ship. Originally, they thought that their ships were already dazzling enough, but compared to this ship, the difference was like heaven and earth. This ship couldn't have been made by those guys south of the riverbank, right? A demonic beast couldn't help but guess. As soon as these words were spoken, the saber-toothed tiger rejected them without hesitation. Impossible. Chapter 69-58. The saber-toothed tiger's expression also turned cold. It's not like you don't know the fox's personality. If it really had such a preparation, it would have already shown off before. Why would it swallow its pride? At this moment, everyone dispelled the worries in their hearts. They had interacted with the fox a few times before. Its personality was not something that could be tolerated at all. Then this is strange. If it's not those demonic beasts from the south of the river, then why would such a ship appear on the river? The group of demonic beasts immediately became even more puzzled. At this moment, a demonic beast suddenly thought of something and said excitedly, I know, this ship must be from the holy world. With this thought raised, the other demonic beasts all nodded. That's right, that's right. Other than the holy world, there's no other place that can make such a ship. I haven't been to the holy world for 300 years. I'm sure the demonic beasts in the holy world must be more powerful now. You can tell just by looking at this ship. The saber-toothed tiger's face revealed a smile. It had always been yearning for the holy world. All these years, its greatest wish was to be able to become a member of the holy world. Unfortunately, it was not easy to become a member. It could only hope that it could succeed this time. Look, that ship's speed is really too fast. In the blink of an eye, it's getting closer and closer to us. Maybe we can even greet the demonic beasts in the holy world. The group of demonic beasts immediately subconsciously tidied their fur and looked at the ship excitedly. If they could take this opportunity to get familiar with the demonic beasts in the holy world, it would undoubtedly be best. However, as the silver ship got closer and closer, the fierce cloud monkey rubbed its eyes in confusion and said with some doubt, Why do I seem to see the figure of a lion on it? You don't seem to be mistaken. Not only do I see a lion, I also see a rock. Could it be a coincidence? The fierce cloud monkey was a little doubtful. It was impossible for such a ship to appear on the other side of the river. At the same time, the saber-toothed tiger gnashed its teeth and said, "It's that guy, I've already seen the fox." Not only did he see the fox, but he also saw this guy's annoying expression. "Yo-ho, saber-toothed tiger, your ship's speed is not good." In the next moment, Fox's voice sounded from the opposite ship. "I thought you guys would have improved a lot after not seeing you for a year. The ship you built is really not much. How dare you show off in front of us? Isn't that laughable?" Yang Lingfeng looked at the saber-toothed tiger provocatively. Previously he had been imprisoned by this fellow. Just thinking about it was a dark history. "You did it on purpose." The saber-toothed tiger's face was gloomy. It was now certain that Yang Lingfeng was behind this. "Lion, slow down a little." Fox called out to Lion, who was controlling the rudder. "You have to think about them. They are too slow. We have to give them some leeway." Lion sighed. "This is already my slowest speed. Sigh, I'll try my best." Hearing the lion's annoying sigh, the saber-toothed tiger and the other demonic beasts almost vomited blood. Could this fellow be any more shameless? Chapter 69-59. Fox and the others are really elated this time. Yang Qingxue walked to Bailey Hongzhuang's side and looked at the girl who was much younger than her. Her heart was filled with admiration and emotion. In the past year, she clearly understood that the reason why Hongzhuang could have such a high status among the demonic beasts was because of her seriousness and preparation. She thought that even if she and Lingfeng met the three monsters first, their situation would definitely not be better than Hongzhuang's. Although Hongzhuang was weak, she had always used other methods to win her dignity and the respect of these monsters. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled faintly, smiling as she looked at the group of demonic beasts not far away. This is how they should be. She liked to see Fox and the others' proud faces just like when they first met. Speaking of which, I feel that Yang Lingfeng has completely regarded himself as a monster now. Xiao He lazily leaned on Bailey Hongzhuang's shoulder and yawned. Logically speaking, it was the real monster. However, ever since Yang Lingfeng appeared, it felt that this guy was happier than it was. Yang Qingshue's lips twitched. This guy has already let go of himself. I feel that with his intelligence he is really suitable to be with them. Great minds think alike. Bailey Hongzhuang chuckled. Her nightingale-like laughter was pleasant to the ears. After meeting the saber-toothed tiger and the others, Fox and the others were not in a hurry to speed up. They always controlled their speed to be a little ahead of them but not too far away. This situation angered the saber-toothed tiger and the others. No matter how dissatisfied they were, they could not change the situation and could only endure it. "Boss, if this continues, I'm afraid everyone will have opinions about you again." The fierce cloud monkey walked to the saber-toothed tiger's side, his words full of worry. "I know." The saber-toothed tiger's face was gloomy, "But what can we do now? It originally wanted to use this opportunity to redeem everything, but who would have thought that it would be counterattacked by the other party? The situation couldn't get any worse, but it had no other way." The blazing cloud monkey sighed as well. He lowered his voice and said, "Boss, we may not be able to do anything right now, but we can still think of something once we reach the saint's world." "You mean?" The saber-toothed tiger's expression changed slightly, and the sinister look in its eyes became even more intense. The fierce cloud monkey nodded. "Since they didn't know what was good for them and dared to challenge your dignity time and time again, they deserve to end up like this." "You're right." The saber-toothed tiger raised its eyebrows. This kind of fellow should be dealt with directly. After drifting for several days, the group of demonic beasts gathered together, and it was very lively. At the request of the group of demonic beasts, Bailey Hongzhuang and the others directly began to prepare food and wine on the ship. Damn it, they're really too much. The fierce cloud monkey couldn't help but be annoyed. These fellows are deliberately making us unhappy. During these days of drifting on the river, these fellows deliberately drove the ship faster. After they disappeared, they became very anxious. Unfortunately, their ship could only go so fast, so there was nothing they could do but be anxious. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.